Welcome to Hotkeys, the show where we feature 5 of the best games to play on PC this week. On today's show, we'll take a look at Animal Super Squad, a physics-based platformer, Spin Tires Mud Runner, an off-road driving game, the Star Wars Battlefront 2 Early Access trial, Bombsy, a fast-paced brawler, and our IGN PC editor Tom Marks will join us to showcase and play his PC pick of the week, Hand of Fate 2, where action combat meets a card game. We also have a laptop giveaway from our sponsor, so don't miss that and much more on this week's episode of Hotkeys. Our first game this week is Animal Super Squad, a physics-based platformer with an incredibly deep level editor. It reminded us a lot of Little Big Planet, but most of Animal Super Squad's pre-built levels put you in control of some sort of vehicle. Those segments control more like a Trials game than a platformer, which gets a bit more difficult as each level's obstacles tear your ride apart piece by piece. Animal Super Squad just entered early access for $10 with more levels and obstacles on the way, but the Steam community has already started filling out the workshop with custom downloadable maps, some of which might not be appropriate for work. Next up, we have Spin Tires Mud Runner, an off-road driving game, but not the Fast and Furious kind like the Dirt series. In fact, you should probably think of the opposite of that. Spin Tires is more of a sim game like Euro Truck Simulator, so strap in for 18 fascinating hours of driving through the European countryside. Actually, no, it is quite fun. You have to make deliveries on challenging to navigate open-world maps filled with simulated mud pits. The original Spin Tires from 2014 was a surprise hit, selling over 1 million copies, and the Mud Runner edition brings a graphical overhaul, a new map, a whole bunch of new trucks, and lots more. Spin Tires Mud Runner is available now for $30, but is half off for owners of the original game. Switching things back to 2D, here's a look at Bombsy, a fast-paced brawler in the same vein as games like Towerfall or Brawlhalla. What sets Bombsy apart are its almost Brick Breaker-like levels, which quickly fall apart as each round plays out. Players attack by lobbing bombs at each other, which destroy nearby terrain along with, of course, their opponents. Bombsy can be played with up to 6 players both locally and online and is available now for $12. Our next pick this week goes to Star Wars Battlefront 2, and more specifically, the Early Access trial period, which began on Wednesday, November 8th. While Battlefront 2 officially launches next week, the Early Access trial will give you 10 hours of the game, including the first 3 missions of its single-player campaign.
One target, dead ahead. Follow my lead.
But most importantly, all your progress and unlockables will carry over to the live version of the game should you decide to buy it. But you don't have to purchase it to play. You can also subscribe to EA's Origin Access program to play the trial. So if you're still on the fence, check it out for $5 a month. Just be sure to cancel it before it recharges your card. Before we get on to our hottest pick, our honorable mention this week has to go out to Battlerite, a fantastic PvP brawler that left early access on Wednesday and is very fun, entirely free to play now, so absolutely worth checking out. I highly recommend it. We're going to sit down with Tom to play our hottest game of the week, but first, if you're in the market for a free gaming laptop, check out this message from our sponsor.
IGN has teamed up with MSI to give you a chance to win your very own MSI prize pack. That comes with a backpack, headset, gaming mouse, and other goodies. But wait, there's more. One of you lucky gamers has a chance to win the grand prize, a GE63VR Raider 213 gaming laptop. The Raider comes equipped with an i7 processor, a GTX 1070, a 15.6-inch 120Hz 5-millisecond screen, and individually customizable RGB keys. All that and more, plus it's under 5 pounds and barely over an inch thick. Head on over to go.ign.com/hotkeys_giveaway to enter. You can also buy yours now on Amazon and Newegg. Good luck, gamers. Now back to you guys.
And our hottest game this week is Hand of Fate 2, a living board game with combat straight out of the Arkham series. You build a deck of RPG encounters and move your way across a random board with choose-your-own-adventure style choices. But when a fight breaks out, it transforms into a real-time action brawler. Let's get a closer look at Hand of Fate 2. All right, Tom, take us into the inaugural Let's Play of our PC show, which I can't help but notice you're playing on a controller. Off to a great start, but hey, let's get right into it.
Yeah, we're playing an action game, so it fits with a controller this time. Hand of Fate 2 is a weird kind of hybrid of a choose-your-own-adventure, card-based D&D sort of game with like an action combat game, something kind of like the Arkham games or Shadow of War, something like that.
You got a little bit of like a roguelike thing going over.
Yeah. So this is the level select. Each time you choose a level, you can lose, and if you lose, you have to start all over. So it's got roguelite elements.
Sure. Do you retain your deck at that point?
So yeah, you unlock cards that you put into, and you can see here either an encounters deck or an equipment deck, and that basically says what you're gonna. The encounters are what you're gonna find, what you're gonna fight along the way, and the equipment is what you can be rewarded with. So right now we only have 5 things, but you see like we got this, before in a previous level, we got this Bastion of Purification, which is like a better shield. So if we want it to, we can put we have to put all these things in this time, but if we want, when we have more, we can decide what we do or don't want to find. Eventually, you know, you're not gonna want this like crummy basic shield.
Sure.
And on the other side, on the encounters deck, we have a bunch to choose from, right? So these 3 that aren't marked new are encounters that I completed and earned in a previous level. So I know exactly what to expect from them. And I can kind of rely, so if I pull this open, you see I can rely on the fact that this is gonna probably give me gold, it's probably gonna give me food, but I could also get attacked by thieves if it goes wrong. And all this stuff will become a lot clearer once we actually like jump in.
And so we're seeing this kind of like 2D card collection browser.
Yeah.
But this is a double threat game in the sense that this is not the only gameplay element in the game.
No.
There's kind of this like classic D&D choose your own adventure style thing that is still in this medium, but then we are thrust into combat at some point.
Yes, and we can just jump right in. So what you'll see here is the decks that we chose then get shuffled into depending on the level you have, like basically boss decks. It's all these bad things go into it, so like worse weapons and worse encounters for you, and they get laid out on a board like this. And we get the first one.
Whispers from the West.
Yes, so that's the first card that starts off this adventure. It's Whispers from the West. Your conversation with the fur trader is interrupted as Malaclips, who's your companion for this time, arrives in a flurry. And so he says, the Whispers speak of trouble at the edge of the Empire. The town of Westwind is suffering against the Blight, which are basically zombies. And now we can say, head to Westwind or find out about Westwind.
Head to Westwind, on the way.
So we select that, and you say, you return to the markets and ask if any traders headed to Westwind might need an escort, and we can choose either a stonemason, a food wagon, or a weaponsmith.
Oh, well, the weaponsmith, clearly.
All right. So we choose the weaponsmith, and we arrange a ride, and now that earned us a random item from our equipment deck.
Right, which you unlocked earlier to put in your deck, and as a reward.
And you asked a question earlier, actually, that I think is really good to point out, which is that isn't just some sort of like number. Like, you can see it here. This is my actual equipment screen, and I can go through all of my different weapons that I've earned in this encounter. And you start with some really basic stuff.
But Tom, this is just a drawing of an axe. It's not an actual axe that I'm using in combat. Or is it?
It will become that. So all the equipment, all the weapons and everything actually do have like effects on the actual in-game.
Here we go.
And so you see, you find some Imperial soldiers strung up by Northerners. Fight to free them, pay to free them, which will cost us money, or we can just leave.
Well, I definitely want to see the action, so let's jump right in.
All right. So we say fight to free them, and we ready our weapon. Malaclips joins us along with that For a Frost card.
So is he actually going to be like an NPC?
Yeah, he'll actually fight with us. He has his own abilities. You can get other companions later in the game. There he is. And this is what happens is you get sucked into this card, and suddenly you are actually in a 3D action game. This isn't, it's the card part of this definitely betrays the fact that it's a very serious game. And it's got kind of, like I said before, it's got kind of Arkham-style combat where you'll swing your weapon, and then occasionally you'll get a little indicator. So that one I had to dodge, actually, rather than counter. So the little green guy comes up, and I'm getting my butt handed to me right now.
You are getting your butt handed to you. As soon as the cameras turn on, that's just how it goes.
Yeah, it's true.
Oh, man. And this life total is something that transcends this fight. This is not, you have 100 HP just for this fight. This is like your whole level. So when we back out to that card screen, we're going to see that your health is down to almost half.
Right, and I'll need to heal myself as we go. Oh man.
You gonna counter something?
There we go. At some point I will, I promise. But that was a pretty easy fight, easing us in. And yeah, as you saw, I took a bunch of damage, and that holds the same, like my health stays through these encounters. So last stand. Atop Westwind Town Hall is a large bell tower used to signal the day's end for the workers in the mines. Do you wish to summon the soldiers you have recruited? So we can either go looking for more soldiers.
I think we're good, right? We have 7.
There's a couple cards we haven't done, but we can just ring the bell now, and we can pull in those soldiers. Sure. So we have our 7 guys right there represented by the cards, and that's who we're defending the town with. There are 7 Blight and a Terror of Blight, which is like a boss Blight.
Oh, wow. Okay, so the first look at a boss, is it like a de facto boss, or is it a mini boss?
It's like a stronger enemy. There's always a stronger enemy that ends a level.
Interesting.
So in this case, we have to survive till morning when the Imperial reinforcements arrive. Do we give a rousing speech,
Absolutely.
or do we remain silent?
I can do it right now, actually.
All right, so rousing speech.
Oh, but I have to, there's one card. Well, let me give the speech first.
So there's one win.
I know that you've trusted me this far, and hopefully I haven't let you down, but I just want to let you know I will be with you every step of the way as we fight whatever this enemy is. You should know, though, that I do pay you well, and I will be counting on you to defend me, so I will be behind you. Anyway, let us move on. Thank you.
That was very nice.
Very inspirational.
Now pick a card.
That one.
That's
the one.
Congratulations!
Yes!
That was
great.
Beautifully done.
And I also defended my own life because now they'll be in front of me, and this is
exactly.
Charisma roll 10.
Your rousing speech imbues the soldiers with confidence and zeal. So we got inspired, which is all the Empire soldiers deal more damage. And if we hadn't gotten that, potentially something bad could have happened.
Sure. So how responsive is it in terms of I noticed you definitely hit the dodge button there at some point, but.
Yeah, it's a pretty responsive game. I will say it's much slower than other games with this combat.
Right.
You're not really just mashing buttons. You need to take things a little bit more. Oh, I missed him with the 2 things.
That's embarrassing.
But we can do a finisher there to do a lot of damage to him.
And now he's grown some disgusting growths.
Yeah. So it's a little bit slower. It's not just as much of a button mashy game. And that might turn some people off, but I like it. I think it helps differentiate it from the other games that it kind of very admittedly borrows from.
Sure.
So we can get that shield again. He's got a bunch of armor back. You see this guy,
yeah.
That's kind of what he does, is that silver bar around his health.
And that's just diminishing the damage he does take until that silver bar is gone?
Yeah, exactly. It also means that he can block moves until then.
There you go.
Almost.
No armor left. Oh, good dive.
The soldier took him out.
Hey, that's
the
why
inspiration,
we pay them, right?
the speech.
It
did it.
I said stand in front of me and protect me because of this. I can't risk to damage it, and he did, so much so that he defeated the boss. And now, I assume that ends this section of cards, or can we keep adventuring?
Yeah, so this ends the Magician, which is the level we were on, and we break open this token that came for that level.
Dang, oh man, you get to choose!
Actually, we get all.
You go, oh, excellent. So
we
it's
get
not even loot box progression, which I have
no,
a big problem
no.
with.
It's not.
We'll get into that later.
The tokens are very specifically, they unlock certain things.
Winter's Bane.
Yeah, a sword called Winter's Bane.
Valiant Aegis.
It looks like a shield called Valiant Aegis and a ruby ring. And now we can add those to our deck. Sure. And we also got these 5 encounters.
Those are all the ones we did?
No, these are just ones that we got for doing that. They could have been there already, but we don't know what they do until we encounter them. Sure. All the new cards are kind of mysteries until you actually put them in your deck and try them out.
Of course.
Then this is the token for Malaclipse's thing that we got. And that's kind of how this game tells stories without being linear stories.
Sure.
If you want to learn more about Malaclipse's story, you have to keep putting his cards in your deck, and you have to kind of keep progressing.
Right.
And if we wanted to, we wouldn't. See, now we unlock 3 new levels, but if we wanted to just keep learning about Malaclipse, we could just go back to the very first level of the game, play it again, keep putting his cards in, and get through his entire story.
Wow.
If we wanted, but that wouldn't be progressing in other ways.
So there is this linear campaign. There's also an endless mode.
Yes, the endless mode's not in the game yet, but it is coming, where basically you. This was something in the first game as well, where you build a big set of cards, and it just randomizes them and keeps dealing them out forever and ever and ever, and you just see how long you can go. Big question, what is the price point? And it's on Steam, I assume, yes? Yes, this is on Steam. The price point is $30.
All right.
And I was a big fan of the first game, and I think the second game is just kind of Hand of Fate 1, but a lot better, a lot more refined, prettier, the combat's a lot sharper, and I look forward to getting farther into it.
Fantastic. All right, well, Tom, thank you so much for giving us a look at Hand of Fate 2. This, of course, was Hotkeys. Those were some of our favorite PC titles this week, but what are yours? Are they niche indie games that just came out or a giant game that's been out for years? Regardless, let us know in the comments below. You can catch new episodes of this show every Friday at noon, and thanks again for watching Hotkeys.